Alright, hello everyone. This is for tomorrow. I just want to remind you all that I will not be in class, or we will not meet for virtual class. So because this is the same Draw 2 class, I'm going to be referring to virtual Draw 2 and also my fourth period in-person Draw students. So in Canvas here pretty soon, I'm going to publish this and you'll look for practice sketch geometric landscapes. Please read over this carefully. I'll read over it with you and then I'll break it down and show you how I got started and show you a couple examples, all right? This says, ignore that it says fourth period. They are doing the same thing you all are. Below the instructions is an example of my practice. Please watch this video before you move on to step 2 here pretty soon. This will be highlighted and I'll link the video to that. When you're done with your planning, take a photo and submit it. Due at the end of class today. So that is due at the end of class Monday for y'all, okay? It's just a practice sketch, remember that. This says Monday, January 25th, Draw 2, fourth period, but also this is virtual Draw 2 as well. So this is for y'all. It says watch the video, which will be posted soon. It's going to be based off of coming up with an idea for your geometric landscapes. Number 2, it says look over the painting below and pay close attention to where I have labeled foreground, middle ground, and background. So here's a definition for foreground. That is the area of the picture space nearest to the viewer, so it's here at the bottom. I have another example for that. Is this right here, 4 parts to a landscape. So we talked about the foreground. That's right here down at the very bottom. These items or objects, whatever it may be within a landscape or a cityscape, or just in a drawing in general, whatever's closest to the bottom, sometimes to the side, but that has most detail and that are overlapping the rest of the image is the foreground. Middle ground is right behind the foreground, but it's also in front of the horizon line and background. You have that here. Huge middle of the area is going to be your middle ground. Your horizon line, this mountain is actually showing us the horizon line, but actually below it, if you were to have a sun, it would set behind the mountain. And then you have your background, which is the sky. Sometimes people consider anything behind the middle ground, even if it's horizon line, as the background. So just know that these items will have more detail and they'll look larger than these objects in the background, and also middle ground. We all know that flowers are taller than trees, but if you really look at the size, it looks like these are taller. So remember that in your design, so you don't want a giant tree back there and a small tree down here. It won't make any sense. All right, so that's basically what I just went over. It says in your sketchbook, begin planning and practicing. Choose from the many different types of landscapes and styles that are out there. That's like desert landscape, forest landscape, beach landscape. It could be wilderness landscape. It could be flat plains landscape. It could be hill landscape, lakes, rivers, whatever. It's up to you, okay? Use Google to help you find those images. I will put a folder on this practice sketch geometric landscapes right down here that'll have a bunch of images, everything that I've used in there, everything I've used for this project in there. Then it says pick which geometric shape you'd like to use for your drawing. I have a bunch of examples for this in just a minute. Shapes are squares, triangles, rectangles, circles, diamonds. There's so much more. Then it says for C, combine your landscape idea and geometric shape, which is your geometric landscape, and draw it in your sketchbook as a practice. So this is just a practice. You necessarily don't have to do any pen work or outlining just yet. We'll start that on Tuesday. It says here are 3 examples of the final drawing, that we will move on to the next after practice and planning is over. Okay, so here's 3 examples. This was also posted, I believe it was Thursday. This is our project. This is where we're getting to. Look at all the different shapes, look at all the different examples, all the different styles to choose from. All right, as long as you have geometric shape and landscape. Some are very close up, some kind of more or less fit in the middle ground, which down here would be the foreground. So Look how they branch outside. I love this. This is what we'll do. Some of these do not. Like these two here, really cool designs around this one as well. All right. So this was posted, actually Thursday for you to choose from, but there's so much more online for you to practice from. All right, so this was just a printout for my 4th period. The sub will give this to you. All right, so now let's look at my examples I have. I'm gonna show you how I get started as well. Right here, I have a desert theme with this giant cactus kind of branching outside of my geometric shape. And remember, on these different types of objects, there's different types of shading. Wow, that pen just exploded. Let's try this one. Sorry for the delay. So there's, figure out, what type of shading will go with your object. So I'm thinking for something like this, it may just be hatch lines, kind of curved. And obviously where it's darker, it'll have smaller ones in between, all right? For, the mountains, they may have more of a straight hatch line, or they may have some cross hatch, not too sure. For trees like this, they may have more of a scribbled look to it. All right, maybe the moon, who knows, or the sky may have more of the stippling look to it. So again, before I get too distracted, figure out what type of shading, figure out what type of design and landscape you want to do. You have your circle here. I have this kind of square that is right here. I don't know if it actually works. Wow, none of my pens or anything are working. Let's try this Sharpie. So I have this shape here and it kind of goes behind, but I feel like it's slacking right there because I have it come back here as well. So I almost have this kind of L shape, but it's hidden behind the mountain. I have a diamond shape here and everything fits inside versus those two where you have the tree and rocks and the moon step outside. I like this one. I'll show you how I came up with that one. I have the tree barely poking out, but it's still relatively inside. This needs a lot of work. If you notice, I put an X. I'm not sure if I really like this one. I would go back. I wanted this to look like gems, so I may go back and look at that sort of design. If I don't know how to draw it, guess what I would do? Even as a teacher, I would look it up. Oh, look at this. Believe it or not, I have this sticker right here on my desk. Pretty cool. Something like that would work. All right. This sort of stuff really works in graphic design. A lot of people, you would see a lot of these sorts of stickers in the stores right now or on t-shirts. Okay. So how do I get to this? This is what I would do. Pick out images to help you create it. Like how do I build it just based off my memory or photos, right? So I look up, I wanted this sort of redwood California landscape. So I thought it was always cool when I see VW vans in there, so that might be added. The redwood trees and this kind of pin outline. I have this sort of design where it's squared, and I kind of like that sort of geometric shape look. I really liked this one. And then of course I have different, what's the foliage in this sort of redwood forest, right? And also I have, on my digital, like on my iPad, I can zoom in on this for details, right? Particular styles there, but let me show you what I did and came up with it. This is my sketch. Something like this I would turn in, all right? Because I would figure out like, what kind of shading do I want? What does the contrast look like? Is it really dark with my pen in the background? I don't know, I gotta figure that out. The tree would also be very dark because it's further back, we have less light coming through. Or is it lighter? I don't know. How do if I don't know, you gotta research it, you gotta look it up, right? How do you draw a van at a certain angle? Look it up. All right. I have to research as well, just as much as you do as an artist. Over here will be my ferns, probably close up. Look at, detail here. So right now we're just trying to get the idea of what's it gonna look like, okay? You could also do smaller ones and a couple different examples for you, all right? This is all you're doing. Remember, this is this right here. It says choose from many different types of landscapes, so I chose more of a redwood scene. It could have been kind of inspired by these. Pick your shape. I picked a triangle, and then I combined them, and this is what I did. I combined my landscape with my shape. Combine my landscape, oh, I shouldn't have marked that, with my shape. Landscape with my shape. What's around it? Landscape with my shape. Landscape with my shape, all right? Just planning and practice, that's all this is. So this will be on Canvas for you here pretty soon, along with this video. Thank you guys, see y'all Tuesday.